Today is the day that we're gonna take my world record SQ5 and put it on the dyno and find out how much power does it really make. So make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video to find out the exact number that it puts down. Let's get right into it. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would ask you to please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button to receive all notifications. What's going on YouTube? You're back at Need for Bill. My name is Dave, and behind me is my world record running hybrid turbo SQ5. And yes, it's time for us to find out how much power is it really making. Now, I have a couple speculations, and so does everybody else. Everyone wants to know how much power the TTA10 really puts down. Today, we're gonna get into some dynojet numbers and find out what power is it really putting down. I've taken my SQ5 on a 2.5 hour road trip from Seattle, Washington, all the way up to Vancouver, BC, here at Racing Grade, an amazing shop. They have a dynojet dyno, and essentially what we're gonna do is a dyno that TTE 710 S4 that belongs to a Van City Audi, that's stage 3 plus on E70 with an OTS file, and then my TTE 810 SQ5 with the 810 beta file, also stage 3 on E70. Now, I'm not alone here today. There's actually a few other cars besides Adam's and my car. They're gonna be hitting the dyno, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of comparisons in this video, so make sure you guys watch all the way to the end to find out what each car puts down on the dyno. And let's get right into dynoing all of these cars that showed up today.
My name is Anthony. This is my B9 S5 Sportsback. Got the Unitronics Stage 1 Plus with 93 octane, Unitronics Intercooler, a CTS Turbo Inlet, AWE intake, and an AWE exhaust, and a Miltech padded downpipe.
Now, let's find out what the Stage 1 Plus Unitronic on 93 octane S5 did. 507 wheel torque and 414 wheel power. Look at that torque graph right there. I mean, at 3,000 RPM, it just hits peak torque and tapers off, obviously. The horsepower builds really well all the way to the top. Quite amazing numbers for the first car of the day, and I can't wait to see what the other cars will do. Well, Anthony, we know what numbers you made. Are you happy with your Unitronic Stage 1 Plus 93 numbers or what?
I am pretty pleased. Yeah. Better than before, so good day to do it.
So, when's the last time you dynoed your car?
I haven't dynoed this one, but I previously had an S4, same platform, 2 years ago, and maybe a different scenario, but it was lower numbers for sure.
Lower numbers. So you made a lot more power today, essentially, on the Stage 1 Plus Unitronic tune. I'm pretty impressed myself, I'll be honest.
If you're impressed, I'm impressed.
Really good numbers.
My name is Jay. This is my B9 S5 with an integrated engineering stage 2 93 octane on the ECU and a stage 2 TCU tune. It's running integrated engineering air intake, turbo inlet pipe, and integrated engineering intercooler as well.
Oh, thank you so much for telling us your modifications in the car. Can you tell me, what do you think your car's going to make on the dyno today?
I honestly don't know. For me, it's not about that. It's more the fun behind it. I've never dynoed it before, so I am quite excited to see what this actually does. So I have an idea.
Now, let's take a look at what this IE Stage 2 93 octane S5 did. We're looking at 517 foot-pounds of wheel torque and 417 wheel horsepower. Torque graph is not as clean as I wanted it to be or as I expected it to be, but it did make more peak torque overall. So looking at your numbers that you made on the dyno, are you happy with your numbers?
It's a blast. I'm interested on the torque curve and how IE's going to address things like that. But I mean, I'm not disappointed. It's a ride of a car. It's a fun car. Looking forward to see the differences between the stages and what's going to come next.
My name is Yoshi. I bought my 2018 S4. It's an integrated Stage 1 E85 tune. I have a CS intake, DCS Turbo Inlet, and CTS front mount intercooler, and full AWE exhaust.
So let's find out what the Stage 1 E85 S4 made on the dyno. Not too great of a numbers, and there's a reason for that. PCV actually is bad, and it sprayed oil everywhere. Notice there was smoke coming out during the dyno pull. So it made 478 wheel torque and 393 wheel horsepower, which obviously is very low for a Stage 1 E85 car. It is a hardware failure, which sucks. We really wanted to see what the Stage 1 E85 would do with integrated engineering, but sadly not all things go according to plan. As far as it goes, this is all that we're gonna get today for this car, and it's gonna get a new PCV. So I'm standing again with Adam from Van City Audi. He's actually the one that had the idea for me to bring my SQ5 all the way from Seattle to Canada. Adam, thank you so much for inviting me today. Obviously, we're here to compare the 710 to the 810, right? Correct. We want to get an exact comparison to see what the differences between the turbos are. Can you tell me what modifications are on your car?
So I have a complete integrated engineering build. We have an integrated engineering intercooler. We have an integrated engineering turbo inlet, integrated engineering air intake. We have a CTS turbo charge pipe. We have an IE down pipe. We have IE mid pipes. I have the 4-bar map sensors from TTE. I have an APR high pressure fuel pump, and I have the upgraded direct injectors from a 4-liter twin turbo V8.
What has been your fastest quarter mile to date so far?
So the fastest quarter mile I've ever accomplished to date was a 10.008, kick in the balls if I do say so myself.
No close.
7.9 one-thousandths quicker, and I would have been able to say it's a 9-second car.
I think all you needed was a driver mod, Adam. I think.
Agree with him.
And you and I actually raced once. Link.
I don't know if it was a race, but yeah.
There's going to be a link down in the description to the video that Adam and I raced in. I was chasing a world record in my SQ5, and sadly we only got one run in, which sucks. But today we're here for round 2. So we're going to be racing on the dyno, and like I said, I think this might be the first TTE 810 SQ5 S4 S5 on the dyno. I think so. I haven't seen any dyno figures, any dyno numbers.
I think you could be right.
From integrated engineering, from any company or any
Yeah.
customer-owned car at all.
I think he might be the very first TTE 810 in the world on the dyno today. I haven't done a ton of looking into it, but what I haven't been able to find any dyno results at all on an 810.
Exactly, and neither have I. So I'm actually really excited that we're here today. We can do this. We can compare the 710 to the 810 in the same exact conditions. Couldn't have been a better comparison in my opinion. So
it's perfect. The fact that we're both using Stage 3 Plus software, both using the E70 file as well. All our parts are almost identical, if not identical. So this is as good as it's gonna get.
We're gonna get into Adam's car first here and see what she makes on the dyno, and then we'll get the SQ5 on, and hopefully I'll make more power than this guy.
You'll make a lot more power than I will, I'm positive.
All right, thank you so much, Adam, and let's get right into it. Let's find out what Adam's Stage 3 Plus E70 TTE 710 made on the dyno jet. We're looking at 612 wheel torque and 594 wheel horsepower, which is kind of a little bit low for the TTE 710, I'll be honest. Now look at the torque graph. As we can see, the torque builds pretty nicely and then becomes a little wonky right here. And same thing with the horsepower. It builds very nicely. Then again, a wonky at the top. Not sure exactly what's going on, but we do have some TTE 710 dyno jet numbers, and we're gonna compare these numbers to my TTE 810. So that's coming up next. Now that we got some numbers for the TTE 710 on E70, we're now gonna put the car on a 91 octane, and essentially we're gonna see what the power difference is between E70 and 91 on Stage 3 Plus with integrated engineering. So So let's find out what Adam's Stage 3 Plus and 93 octane did with integrated engineering. He made 512 wheel torque and 502 wheel horsepower, which is quite impressive, I'll be honest, for a 93 octane. Obviously, the biggest limitation is the octane itself. I'm sure he would make a lot more power at 100 or 104, but for 93, this is exactly what it looks like. As you can see, the torque peaks at, what is that, 3,500 RPM. And then he just has some weird swivels right here, I'll be honest. And same thing with the wheel horsepower, builds very nicely. And then again, swivel, swivel, swivel. Definitely a nice comparison between E70 and a 93 octane for those that want to see the actual difference. I think Adam will be doing a quarter miles and a draggy performance numbers and comparing them between his E70 street numbers and also his 93 street numbers. I will make sure to link his channel down in the description below. That way you guys can check him out, see everything that he's doing with his B9 S4. Now that we're done with Adam's TTE 710 Stage 3 Plus B9 S4, we're gonna get my SQ5 on the dyno and see what kind of numbers my TTE 810 Stage 3 Plus Beta with integrated engineering will put down on the dyno jet. So let's find out exactly how much power my SQ5 made. I'd like to first show you some Mustang dyno numbers for those that want to see that. I made 538 wheel torque and 560 wheel horsepower. So now we're gonna switch it from the Mustang dyno corrected numbers to a dyno jet calibration and see how my dyno jet numbers compare to the other cars. Now we're gonna look at some dyno jet numbers. We're looking at 620 wheel torque and 643 wheel horsepower. Let's look at the graph right here. The torque looks actually pretty dang good and obviously tapers down toward the end. I'm actually pretty happy with the torque curve. And if you look at the horsepower curve right here, goes all the way up. It's fairly smooth actually until it gets to this point where it dips up and down, which means that there's actually probably still more to be had from the turbo. I'm surprised that we've even accomplished these insane numbers, even with a dyno jet calibration. Like I said, this is a TT 810 beta. There's a lot more that's gonna happen with this calibration, and there's probably more power available with the turbo. And who knows, I might be able to push it a little bit more. That's up to the calibration engineers at Integrated Engineering. Either way, I'm really happy with the power that this car has made on the dyno today. And now we're gonna go over to the drawing board and compare all the numbers from the cars today compared to my 810 and what it put down on the dyno. So I have the whiteboard today that Adam has put together for everyone to see what numbers everyone has been able to put down today. So first of all, we had Anthony in his S5 put down 418 wheel horsepower and 507 foot-pounds of torque. By far the best looking graph today, I think. Now, next up, we had Jason in his Integrated Engineering Stage 2 93 octane S5. He put down 417 wheel horsepower and 517 foot-pounds of torque, which the torque difference right here alone makes sense. The biggest jump, in my opinion, between Stage 1 and Stage 2 is the torque itself. Now we got to Yoshi, and sadly he had a PCV failure. Not on the dyno. Apparently the PCV has been bad for some time, so clearly he wasn't able to make close to the advertised numbers from Integrated Engineering. Clearly not Integrated Engineering's fault, but sadly it happened. Now we're gonna get to Adam's TTE 710 Stage 3 Plus S4 that put down 594 wheel horsepower and 612 foot-pounds of torque. And you guys saw his graph. I personally think that it looked pretty decent. Yes, there are clearly some kinks that'll work out. He thinks that it's part of the tuning calibration that needs to get readjusted, and he will get to the bottom of it and definitely find out what's going on with his car or his calibration. And now we're gonna get to my Stage 3 Plus E70 TTE 810 SQ5. I put down 643 wheel horsepower and 600 20 foot-pounds of torque. At the end of the day, I'm very impressed with the numbers that my car has actually been able to put down. And many people ask me, is it worth it to go from a stage 1, stage 2 plus, whatever it is, tuned to a stage 3 or stage 3 plus on a hybrid turbo, especially with the A10? I think that absolutely it's worth it. If you were making around 450, 460 wheel horsepower on stage 1 or stage 2 E85, and you jumped up to 600, almost 50 wheel horsepower with just a hybrid turbo injectors, that's just absolutely insane to think about the power difference there that's possible. So we're talking about almost 200 wheel horsepower that you could gain with just a hybrid turbo, specifically the A10. And I think that the A10 trumps the 710 in all ways. The perfect example of that. Now, I understand the 710 wasn't running perfectly, but in my opinion, I believe that the A10 will be the ultimate performance modification. So there it is, guys. There you have it. You've seen the numbers, you've seen the comparisons. I am still blown away by how much power this car has been able to put down today. I'm definitely excited to share more with you guys in the upcoming videos. And if you guys have any suggestions or any questions, I'll gladly answer them. You can email me, you can comment, and you can also reach out to me on Instagram, which is down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.